Welcome back to QuietKat's video series on maintenance. In this video, we're going to talk about getting that nasty squeal out of your brake pads and brake rotors using Squeal out. Over time, brake pads can become contaminated with all sorts of stuff that we ride through, different road chemicals, greases, different types of metal. When they heat up, they can cause noise. That causes that really nasty squeal of the brake pads. So we use this product called Squeal out. It's basically a paste that we're going to apply right to the rotor, grind into the pad, and that's going to help to get rid of that contamination and break down those metallic bits and eliminate that nasty squealing sound. So we're going to do one brake at a time. This is actually going to cause a total loss in braking power while we do it, so we want to make sure you follow the instructions very carefully so that we can restore braking power at the end of the treatment. To start, I'm going to open up the Squeal out using a small piece of chopped rag, tough paper towel or cloth. We're just going to grab a small dabble of this stuff, about a pea-sized amount, maybe a little bit more than you would put on your toothbrush. We're just going to go ahead and rub that on the rotor, just gently around the back half of the rotor. You'll notice some of it pokes through. That's all good. Just going to kind of rub it through gently on both sides of the rotor, getting a nice even coating. So now that we've got the paste all over a good portion of the rotor, you notice we covered about 1/3 of it. It's really all we need to do. Now we're going to rotate that section kind of up and into the brake pad area. We start to hear a little bit of that grinding. That's a totally normal sound. So what we'll do is just rub it back and forth. Right now we're applying no brake pressure at all, just rubbing the paste on in. Next thing we're going to do is make a few full rotations. You notice that we hear the grind just in the pasted area. We just kind of roll that through. Now we're going to get a little more aggressive and actually pull the brake lever and rotate the wheel through it. Sometimes this is easier to put the bike on the ground so that we can use the weight of the bike to roll it back and forth under some braking power. So with the bike on the ground, again, we're going to line up our section with the paste on it by the rotor. So first we're going to slowly just pull the brake lever back a little bit and just roll the bike back and forth. Continue to hear that grind. Squeeze the lever a little more, roll it back and forth. And we're going to continue to do this a few times until we get almost full braking power. And you notice that the grinding sound is reduced as we've really gotten that paste in there. Once we start feeling a little bit of braking bike come back, we go ahead and stop, clean the paste off the rotor. So now that we got the bike back in the air, we've rolled it around a few times, we're going to go ahead with our clean cloth and just come back through, remove any residual paste from the rotor, wiping it off from all the outsides. Next, you might need to get a little creative. Take your towel, you just kind of give it a good twist so that we can create a little bit of a pokey section so that we can go through and just kind of poke and clean the extra paste out of these vent holes in the rotor so that they don't interfere with our braking once we're back out and riding. If you have an air compressor, you can use your air compressor and blast this stuff out of the way. So now that we got a lot of that gunk out of the disc, we can go ahead with a nice new clean rag, a little isopropyl alcohol, and just spray the alcohol right on the disc. Using our nice clean rag, this is very important that this is clean and has no other grease or oils on it. We can rub along the brake rotor and remove all the excess paste and any other nastiness that might be on the rotor using the isopropyl alcohol. You can see we've got a little bit of grease and dirt coming off of there. That's going to really help. Give everything a good wipe down and clean. Make sure that there's no paste around the calipers or the pads themselves. We can spray isopropyl alcohol straight into the pads. Them nice and clean, get everything nice and dry. And again, if you have an air compressor, blast this and air dry it, and that'll get the job done really quickly. Okay, so we've got the disc rotor all cleaned up. Use some isopropyl alcohol to get everything off there. All the paste is good. Now we're going to go ahead and test to make sure that we've got some good braking force and slowly get those braking forces back in. Best to do this with the bike in the air. You can do it with the bike on the ground just by rolling it back and forth, same way we did when we applied the paste. I'm going to go ahead and just spin the wheel, get it up and going. We're going to grab some rear brake. We're going to repeat this process 4 or 5 times. That way we can really get everything honed in. You should be seeing each time you do it, the braking power is increasing to the point where the last time you do it, you should feel that real bite from the brake applying the power to the rotor. Looks like we're all set up. If you need to repeat the process on the front, it's the exact same way on the front.